you people still don't get it. You don't get it. I voted for Donald Trump, black Trump supporter, voted for Donald Trump to do what he's doing. Did you expect Donald Trump to do this? Not all this. Oh, it feels so good. That's how I feel. Do you like Elon Musk? Yes. Well, yes. Yes, I do. I'm watching Democrats tell me, I thought Republicans like small government. Well, that didn't work, so we need Elon. That's why we got Elon, to help shrink it. Look what he's doing for the USAID. They're dropping their workforce from 10,000 to 300. Black History Moment. Black History Moment. Every last black that's on television seem to be all sucking off the Democrat teat. All of them give the same talking point, the same concerns, all Democrat approved. All of you Democrat approved. Well, Donald Trump, he really ain't helping black people. He really ain't helping black people. You brag one moment black people didn't support Donald Trump. So why are you upset Donald Trump ain't supporting black folk? You can't have it both ways, but he is. What Donald Trump is doing, he's eliminating the, are you a DEI hire or are you a hire? Yes, and people have a right to say that. I'm enjoying every single bit of this. Friday, I'm loving it. Trump kicking butt. You don't like it? Guess what? You didn't vote for Trump. We're out here protesting. We're protesting Doge. Did you vote for Donald Trump? No. So why am I surprised that you out here protesting Trump? You didn't vote for him. So of course you're not going to like it. But as for people like me, I'm loving it. Enjoy your Friday.
Be leaders ourselves.
Black women are being used by the Democrat Party.
All of these socioeconomic indicators are in the negative, particularly for black people.
They want mob rule. When Trump was in office, please somebody tell me what act of dictatorship did he perform?
She had Donald Trump's hair on top of her head. And she's sitting here talking about brown girl this, brown girl that.
Because she's a black woman.
They would ask her how to spell her first name and clap like sea monkeys.
Oh, yeah.
Whoa.
What's up, everybody? It's Wednesday, and it's time for Pop and Politics. I'm KJ. Let me introduce you to my co-hosts. All right, so tonight joining us from our brother station, Just the Guys podcast, is Giovanni Patterson.
Logic,
right? Logic, yes. And then we also have Shelly E.
I don't know, government out there.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
If you're gonna say it from the podcast,
Oh, go ahead, but I'm on your.
All right. Nicole is out tonight. She will be back on Friday.
she got snowed in.
Yeah, we got some snow here, folks. We got a lot of snow in the Eastern Shore area, which is where she's from, Southern Maryland, I should say. So she couldn't make it up today, but she will be back on Friday. So before we dive in, do me a favor, tap that thumbs up and subscribe. Right now, that definitely helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube. So we are here on YouTube, as I mentioned, and we are broadcasting from Rumble. You can also listen to us on Apple Podcasts or Spotify under the name Pop and Politics. We love our chat. We shout out all of our super chats. So it's the best way to get your voice heard in the conversation and to show your love for conservative content. This is not just a podcast. This is a movement of God-fearing, truth-seeking, America-loving people that value freedom. Stand with us, subscribe, so we can amplify this rallying call for freedom. All right, let's set it off. You guys saw at the top of the show that that video from that guy. And Shelly, did he pretty much say everything you were thinking? as far as what we're seeing with Doge and Elon Musk and Trump?
He certainly did. I laughed. I thought it was hilarious. He was right on the money. I'm sick of these people, particularly these politicians, crying that, Elon is running roughshod. Run roughshod. Run a damn marathon over it. I mean, just back and forth. Just keep running. I don't care. I am loving it. Every step he takes, every breath he takes, he is watching all of you.
yeah, Giovanni. I mean, have you liked the idea? Because they keep trying to say that this isn't what the people voted for, but isn't it in actuality what we as Trump supporters voted for?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay,
We've gotten way more
Exactly.
than what we voted for. Like you ever made an investment? Right? You put a little money in, like a little piece of money, and then it just like exploded into something way more valuable. And that's exactly what the people have gotten now with the election of Donald Trump. And I know this is one of those things that have been kind of said over and over, but it just makes more sense now that 4 years off really, I think, helped him come in to hit the ground running, because I don't think if he was reelected in 2020, we wouldn't see the massive change that we see now. It's still been kind of the slow progress. And Trump made that point of he didn't know who to trust in DC. He was a New York guy. He knew who he could call in New York. He knew where he could go, who could do what. Now he's a DC guy, and he knows exactly who to call, who to turn to, who to bring in, and what to expect from people. So I think this was just a great investment. People are getting greater return on their vote than what they expected.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of that, speaking of people speaking out about what is going on with the government, how Trump and Elon Musk are exposing all of the corruption and waste that we've seen, or at least they've shown that the Democrats have been using our money for, hard-paying taxpayer money. I want you guys to take a look at this. This is Isaiah Carter on clip 10.
The Democratic Party have lied to us about everything. They've lied about being the party of the middle class. They've lied about being the party of peace. They've lied about being the party that wants to help poor people. Okay? What the last several weeks have proven to us all is that this is a cadre of criminals and losers and spoiled children of affluent parents who were more concerned about looking good than actually doing good. These are people who were more concerned about looking like they were doing something for the American people than actually doing things for the American people.
All right. That was amazing, folks. We did share that on one of our shows from last week with Isaiah's photo on that. So if you want to get the full, I would say, rant that he did, it was epic. Definitely check it out. But he's here with us tonight.
Yes.
So we have Isaiah Carter right here with us, joining us tonight, host of Apostate Radio. Isaiah, thank you so much for joining us. How are you tonight?
I am well. Thank you for having me on this evening. I greatly appreciate it, guys.
Absolutely. Well, we were excited. As soon as I saw your video, I said, and then he's from Baltimore.
Yes.
You guys know we are here in Baltimore. As soon as I heard he was from Baltimore, I was like, we have to get Isaiah on.
Hold on. You're east side or west side, though, man?
Don't say it. Don't say it.
You know what? It's complicated.
Come on.
No, I'm serious. The early part of when I was a little boy, I grew up on Gwynns Falls Parkway.
That's west side.
West side.
So then, but then at age when I was about 10,
when you got some smarts, you moved to the east side.
But my parents moved us over to Bel Air Edison on Northeast.
Oh,
There
nice. Okay.
Yeah, so I am. So I guess you could say, well, my formative years and then into adulthood. I guess I could claim Northeast Baltimore. That's no problem.
There you go.
Yeah, okay.
LA Addison. There you
Yeah,
go.
okay.
Ain't nothing in West Baltimore but queers and steers.
What are you talking about?
That's from Office of the Gentleman.
You know that's real funny, especially when you think about Kyle Ripken. Remember that?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Queers and stairs, and then one was running down North Avenue that day.
I think Eastside takes that claim now.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
all right. So I want to really get into this.
I live on the West Side, man.
We have.
I know. That's why I said
We have been seeing all of this madness. I mean, for it's only been, hasn't even been a month yet since President Trump.
Nope, it'll be a month tomorrow.
Okay, so I mean, it has not been even a month yet, and the left has gone wild
Insane.
over Elon Musk and Doge. And before I get your thoughts on this, I want you to take a look at this clip here. So Trump was on with Sean Hannity last night talking about Doge. He was on with Elon Musk, really pushing back against all that we have seen the Democrats accuse them of. Take a look at this clip, and then I want to get your response for this, Isaiah. This is clip 2.
And when he talks about the executive orders, and this is probably true for all presidents, you write an executive order and you think it's done. You send it out. It doesn't get done. It doesn't get implemented. They don't implement it. Maybe they're from the last administration, and they are in some cases. You try and get them out as fast as you can. But as soon as he said that, I said, that's interesting. You write a beautiful executive and you sign it and you assume it's going to be done, but it's not. What he does is he takes it, and with his 100 geniuses, he's got some very brilliant young people working for him that dress much worse than him, actually.
Yeah,
they dress in just T-shirts. You wouldn't know they have 180 IQ.
Wait a minute. So he's your tech support.
No, he is.
I actually
but he's
am
much
tech
more
support.
than that.
I actually am tech support, though. But
he gets it done. He's a leader.
Yeah.
He really is. He gets it done. You get a lot of tech people, and you have people that are good with tech, but he gets it done. I said in real estate, you had guys that would draw beautiful renderings of a building, and they'd draw the rendering. It would be great. And you say, great, when are you starting? But they were never able to get it built. They couldn't get the financing. They couldn't get the approvals. It would never get done. And then you have other guys that are able to get it done. They could just get it done. I was in real estate. Same thing in this. He gets it done. So when he said that, he said, when you sign these executive orders, a lot of them don't get done, and maybe the most important ones. And he would take that executive order that I'd sign, and he would have those people go to whatever agency it was. When are you doing it? Get it done. Get it done. And some guy that maybe didn't want to do it, all of a sudden, he's signing. He just doesn't want to be bothered.
All right. So I want to get your thoughts on that exchange, Isaiah. Do you believe, because the way the left is telling us, Elon Musk shouldn't be there, and he shouldn't be doing these things. We didn't elect him, and he should not be doing it. What are your thoughts on that?
My thoughts on that are very simple. Elon Musk is serving at the behest of the President of the United States. He is serving as the head of the Department of Government Efficiency, which is a rework of the U.S. Digital Service. It is well within the president's authority for Elon Musk to be there. So this idea that Elon is this new president of this shadow government is absolutely hilarious when you take into consideration just how much money USAID was throwing around all over the world. I mean, we're talking about 1% of the entire government, and there was already trillions of dollars in fraud, waste, and abuse found. So So when I hear people say that, my first thought is, okay, so how much of the take were you on? Because I can think of a couple people right now, particularly one down there in our home state, that really shouldn't have opened his mouth when it comes to standing up for the quote unquote institutions, corrupt as they are, Kwesi Mfume. So
Right.
it's not. So
Yeah,
there you have it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I want to get your thoughts on this, Shelly. I want to get you in here. First, take a look when we talk about these people who have been riling up the Black community, been riling up Americans, saying that that Elon Musk and President Trump are dealing with our sensitive information. One of the main people has been Jasmine Crockett. Take a look at this clip. This is clip 9.
Hirings of federal workers across agencies like the Department of Education, the VA, the CDC, the FAA, even the USDA. In some cases, they've had to unfire critical employees like our nuclear safety specialists, but they didn't have their government email addresses active anymore, so they can't find them. So now, on what grounds are, I know you can't make it up, it's like I'm writing a movie. On what grounds are they laying, a very bad movie, on what grounds are they laying off these workers, and how will the scale of this impact everyday workers who are concerned about the price of their eggs
and nuclear arsenals?
Yeah. So here's the deal. I don't really know what authority they have to do anything.
Yes.
I walked in and I didn't get to read the entire article, but earlier today, it seems like there is someone who was fired. There was the head of an agency, and a judge ruled that firing was illegal. People seem to be surprised that the first felon that we ever elected to the White House commits crimes, but, or breaks the law.
Right, breaks the law.
But clearly, he has no respect for the law whatsoever. And so, for the most part, it seems like they've been going after probationary people because probationary employees do not enjoy the same protections.
They lack some protections.
Exactly. And so, it'll be interesting to see where the unions go with some of these lawsuits and how successful they are. But again, ultimately, I think that he's trying to get to his favorite court.
Right now has a 53% approval rating. It's higher than it's ever been. 70% believe that he's fulfilling his promises, and 45% believe Democrats should be more moderate. What do you take away? I think there's a lot to make of those numbers, but what's your takeaway from that?
My takeaway is just like the election. We've got to do better at education. People don't understand, but you will understand when those hospitals in rural America start closing down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security. You will understand when your Medicaid, your Medicare goes away. You will understand as planes continue to fall out of the sky. Soon you will understand why it's important to maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we wanted because we could at least sleep at night.
Yeah, that's the truth. Amen, child.
Shelly, what does that? Sleepy Joe is what we wanted.
No, interestingly enough, she did not say Kamala. She skipped over that. The Black woman, right? First of all, Jasmine Crockett is full of poop. I'm gonna try to keep my language clean tonight for all you Puritans out there. I'll try to do that. But she's full of it. Number one, let me say something. She said something about our Constitution is being ignored with a pen. Well, if I remember this president that looks like me in 2014, he proclaimed, made it loud and clear that he had a pen and a phone to write executive orders, because that's what he was going to do. He was going to go around Congress on purpose and write the executive orders. Not only that, she mentioned that going around the law, that this president Trump likes to go around the law. Well, Mr. Biden, Sleepy Joe, he signed a few orders, and one of them was the School Loan Forgiveness Act or whatever. And the Supreme Court said, no, you cannot do that. And guess what he said? He's going to do it anyway. Is that called skirting the Constitution and ignoring the law, particularly when you had the Supreme Court override it and review what you have written in an executive order? I guess that doesn't matter. Jasmine Crockett, she's sitting there with the federal, I can't say the word tonight, F up. She's sitting there with her, and then they're laughing at each other. And then what was the last comment she made to Alyssa about education and people are uneducated? No, I already feel upset that I'm not getting my Social Security. Over 30-something damn years ago, I'm sorry, that slipped out. Over 30-something years ago, when I started paying into it, I was upset then. And I know I'm even more angry because I'm not going to get it all that I've been paying into it. I'm going to be quite pleased, again, the more Elon and Trump overturn and turn over all of these undercover and hidden costs and expenses that we've been paying into that we probably won't see one red cent of as far as a return on investment. I'm quite pleased. I am so tickled. I could explode. That's how much happiness and energy that I have. There's just like effervescence inside of me. It's just bubbling up. I can't wait till they find more. In fact, I might explode. Maybe they shouldn't find some more just so I won't explode yet. But I do want them to find it all. I want them to find it all. Jasmine Crockett. So, and she's talking to that woman there, Sunny Hostin. She's a woman, yes. But you got two nitwits, I'll keep it nice again, sitting there talking to each other. Both of them are lawyers, attorneys, and all they can do is focus on what Trump has delegated this particular authority to Elon Musk. He is doing a damn good job of it.
Yeah, Giovanni, I don't understand how they plan to flip the idea that Elon Musk and President Trump are uncovering money that they said should not have been used, our taxpayer money. How is that a bad thing?
Hit dogs holler. That's exactly what's going on. The hit dog is hollering loud, but I get upset. They constantly parade around these black women to do this thing, and these women are trained in entitlement. They speak the language very well. Anything that goes wrong, it could be that one fry was missing out of your order at McDonald's,
right? And
they know how to get the manager on the phone and somehow call corporate so that you can get the next 30 meals free at the restaurant. That's the level of entitlement that these people are trained in.
Yep.
But it's all based in Marxism. It's all based in communism, and they're just agents of the Communist Party. Manning Johnson talked about this years ago in the book Color Communism, Common Sense, which I might as well start preaching from at this point, because they use these people that like to be seen, like to be heard, and are phrase mongers. They say the things, they get the snaps and the claps and the oohs and the ahs, and that's what they feed off. So this is just, as long as they can keep up the emotion in all these efforts, as long as they can keep those tensions high, they're always going to have a platform. They're always going to be heard. But the good thing is now people are starting to feel this in their own pockets. They're starting to see, well, what is the government really doing? And all this can be uncovered in 3 weeks. What's really going on? And they're also just kind of showing how uneducated they are when it comes to these positions. They always talk about and bring up the Constitution only when it's against what they're planning to do, when it's these misinterpretations of the Constitution that they're putting into effect. So we'll expect to see more of this, but it's a bunch of noise. They're trained in entitlement.
Yep. Yeah, Isaiah, you heard what she said. Americans aren't educated. We're uneducated when it comes to what President Trump and Elon Musk are doing to expose this money. What's your response to that?
Jasmine Crockett is a fraud. I'm going to start there. Jasmine Crockett is a plant of Alex Soros. Okay. We're talking about a woman who went to a $20,000 a month high school, if I remember correctly. Okay. Jasmine Crockett was probably built in the same lab as Sexy Red, but I cannot confirm, or I can't confirm that information. Listen, when it comes to Jasmine Crockett, when it comes to this condescension that the Democratic Party have specialized in over the last several years, I like it. Honestly, it's a wonder to me how they have people that actually vote for them anymore, because I don't understand how this woman can sit there and say, oh, well, you're going to find out when you lose your Social Security. You're going to find out when you lose all your entitlements. And I'm just like, the administration was very clear to state that no entitlements, no Social Security, no Medicare payments were going to be lost. But because the messenger isn't right. They're not going to listen to anything that that their great Satan is going to tell them. Of course, the message gets lost. I'm going to just say this. I am tired of Black women being used like this.
Yeah,
I really am. I've been in plenty of situations where I've watched Black women who have been dear to me near and dear to me in the past, who get sucked into that stuff, and they end up defending they end up defending this garbage, and they end up muling for the agendas of white leftists. And it makes me it really makes me angry. Like we are, and like the young brother said, we're seeing all of this stuff that's coming straight from the communist playbook. And one of the things about communism is communists love to use your own values against you.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So of course, what one has to do is they have to understand, you have to know when your values are being used against you. They will, it's like, we're going to do what we want when we're not in power. I'm trying to remember how the saying goes. I just saw it today. When I'm not in power, I ask you for freedom because it goes along with my ideology. When I am actually in power, I take away your freedom because it's in line with my ideology. In the same case, like this is what we're dealing with. The Democratic Party are no longer democratic.
Right.
I said this years ago. Liberals are not liberal anymore. These are Marxists. Right. Sorry to say, but all the Marxists, like the AOCs and the Rashida Tlaibs and the Ayanna Dr. Evil Presley's, all of these are now they are the new Democrats. They are Marxists.
So Isaiah, let me ask you this, Isaiah. Why don't they why doesn't Jasmine investigate her friend AOC when she's actually educating illegals on how to skirt this system and things like that? Why do you think?
Because they're all part of the revolution. They're all. I'm dead serious.
Yeah.
Understand? No comrade must go against another comrade, because that's how you end up like Eric Adams up here. Okay, Eric Adams went against the revolution when he spoke out about how the illegal alien situation up here was going to destroy the city. He said that, as a matter of fact, I tweeted about it today. I said in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, Eric Adams became an enemy to the revolution.
Absolutely.
Once you cross that, so Jasmine Crockett knows where her bread is buttered, just like AOC knows where her bread is buttered. They are never going to cross each other, because no matter what, the issue is never the issue. Whatever topic they need to use to gain power, they're gonna use it. The issue is never the issue. The issue is always the revolution. But
exactly.
Absolutely. And it's funny you brought up Eric Adams, because that was what I was going to move to next. So I want to get your thoughts on him, particularly since you're there in New York. So we know recently, within the last couple of days, news broke, Governor Kathy Hochul actually brought Oust Sharpton to help decide whether to oust New York City Mayor Eric Adams. So I'm just, first off, why Al Sharpton? What does he have to do with any of this?
Yes.
A little, two words that I've came up with a few years ago: color legitimacy. Color legitimacy. When white liberals cannot operate if they are going to make a move against someone of a quote unquote historically marginalized community, they have to get someone who is a leader within said historically marginalized community to sign off on it. Which is why Al Sharpton was in there skinning and grinning with Governor Hochul yesterday. Now, my issue is this: Governor Hochul has a lot of other issues, has a lot worse things to worry about than Eric Adams, and again, like I said earlier, the reason why they are so angry, the reason why they're trying to remove him is they want to remove him. I don't know. Personally, I don't think they will. But the reason why they want to remove him is because he crossed the Biden administration.
That's what we thought.
Remember,
Yeah.
remember that for your audience, the 2-minute and 20-second clip that I was talking about, where he went against the administration on the migrant crisis. He was just supposed to be a good Democrat,
right? Like
he intimated in his Tucker Carlson interview. He was just supposed to be a good Democrat and just sit there and take it. Okay, just let the buses keep going in. Just keep letting everybody get their money. Whether he got a cut of it, I don't know. Okay, but the point is, he was there simply to oversee the status quo.
Well, Isaiah, I have a question.
Got out of line. Yes, ma'am.
What's the sentiment in New York City in particular? What's the sentiment among the populace there regarding Eric Adams?
Well, they don't. I mean, people don't like him. I mean, like some people look at him as like a party promoter kind of mayor, kind of how he talks. You know, I remember seeing him some years ago when he was Brooklyn borough president, and this was like some event that he was at. He was like, "This is Eric Adams, and I'm the Brooklyn borough president." Like that was his thing, right? He's very bombastic in his speech. I think people are torn in terms of they see what people are doing, right? Like they see what the machine state up here is doing. They know that the machine has mobilized against him. Do they think that he should be removed? Most people with sense know that that's a no-go, because the next person the next one in the line of succession, the mayoral line of succession up here, is a full-blown communist by the name of Jumaane Williams, who is so far. This guy might as well be the Black Karl Marx. That's how far removed he is. No, I'm dead serious. This guy Jumaane Williams lives on Fort Hamilton, which is an army base in South Brooklyn. This guy rolls with security that's like Secret Service levels. Okay.
Wow.
What is his position exactly? He's the public advocate. What does a public advocate do?
You gotta love these titles, though, man. You gotta love these titles.
Yes.
Listen,
how did we get jobs like that?
Brother, listen, the stuff he's done to get that, you gotta have a cast iron stomach for that. But that guy. But so the point that I'm trying to make is, Jumaane Williams is the ultimate rubber stamp. This is a guy who will do whatever his handlers, whatever his communist handlers tell him to. He's gonna do it, because it advances the revolution. Everyone knows that if he gets in, even if it's for 30 days, because I think the law up here says that any removal is only for 30 days unless it's unless they find like probable cause. But even if it's for 30 days, or if it's for 6 weeks until they call a special election, that man will unleash hell on New York City. Because that's what communists do. And that's really so the sentiment, so the general sentiment is, we probably not going to vote for Eric Adams again this year, because this is the year for mayoral elections up here. But he needs to stay exactly where he's at.
Yeah, I think so too.
That's interesting that they would try to take him out during an election year.
Oh yeah, they're trying to get rid of him, and I think it's more so they're just so upset that he went against, as you mentioned, the family, the other comrades, and they just don't know what to do with it. And New York City has suffered. I mean, what they uncovered with millions and millions of dollars to illegals for housing. We've covered this on here multiple times. It should be criminal. It should be criminal. And you would think more people, particularly Black and brown people, would be upset about this, because social services have been overrun because they've been giving this money to illegals.
Don't get it confused. They are, like, Black folk are upset.
Okay.
Up here. Black folk know exactly what's going on. Remember, the Bronx was actually the largest swing towards Trump in the last election. I think it was plus 11. The second borough that swung to, I mean, Harris won the city, but the second highest swing towards Trump was Brooklyn, which was a plus 7.
So
okay?
Isaiah, I have a thought. I'm sorry.
Yes.
So we know that Black people are upset, like Chicago, New York, about all of these illegal aliens getting all these benefits, right? So do you think that Black people are upset because they're not getting the benefits, or are they upset from a principled constitutional basis, or maybe a little bit of both?
I would say it's a little bit of both. Okay. I mean, like, I mean, most people, when understand, they've given the house away to these people. Okay, they've given the house away. We are talking about, I think in that video, he said that they were getting in at 1,10,000 migrants a month. Okay, they are currently warehousing them in the Bronx. Okay, and in other neighborhood, in my own neighborhood here in Brownsville, in Brooklyn, there are several homeless shelters. They were all full of illegals. Okay, wow. So, and these people were given free food, free shelter. They were given gift cards with thousands of dollars on them.
That's ridiculous.
And meanwhile, you can't fix a pothole. You can't clear a drain. You can't clear a storm drain. You've got potholes. You've got these bike lanes and all sorts of other ridiculousness all over the road in neighborhoods that people. We don't want this.
No. Well, you're right.
Want this. We don't want any of this. So what's happening now, and now that, not even talking about the subway yet, where the subway is full of crime, it's dirty. You have more homeless people in the subways than at any other winter in New York City. There's always an uptick of homeless people up here in the subways, but this year it's bad. So, but when you have no one actually doing anything for the people, and then on top of that with congestion pricing, like where you're charging. The state of New York is charging people.
Yeah, it got passed. Trump just did something about that, right?
Which one was
that?
Yeah. So USDOT, Sean, I forget the new transportation secretary.
Duffy, right?
Duffy, yeah, Sean Duffy. Mm-hmm. They removed the authorization that had been applied for under the Biden administration. The Biden administration, well, Pete Buttigieg, authorized it like last minute, okay? And then it went into effect January 5th. The whole intention was to sneak it in before Trump took office. And so now what's happened is now you have all of these people scrambling around, like trying to be all defiant and stuff. Well, Trump is no king. He can't tell us what to do. And now, and then, Hochul today was just a few hours ago said, well, we're keeping the cameras on. The cameras are staying on. So we're going to keep taking your $9, whether you like it or not.
Wow. Oh my
God. How do you think that's going to go over with the people, with regular working and middle class New Yorkers up here? It's not going to go over well, and it hasn't gone over well. And I think, and to your point, that's why people are swinging to Republicans, because now the Democratic Party are doing things that regular people are actually feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of that, the Department of Health and Human Services spent $20 billion with a B on grants going to migrants in the years of former President Joe Biden's presidency, which saw record numbers of illegal immigration. According to the New York Post, the taxpayer-funded assistance was used to help purchase cars, homes, as well as loans for startup businesses, among other services in the U.S. The Office of Refugee Resettlement at HHS handed out around $20 billion to nonprofits and NGOs in the fiscal years 2021 through 2024. So, I mean, this is what was drawing so many migrants or illegals into the country because they knew they were getting all this money.
Absolutely.
They were giving the house away.
Yeah,
they were giving the house away. And again, this was intentional. I've said this many times to friends, to family, and to people, you know, like on my X post. They were doing the great replacement to us. Black neighborhoods were the dry run for the great replacement. I have said this. You had, again, there are about 3 homeless shelters in less than a half-mile radius from where I live. Nearly all of them were filled with migrants at one point.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. We would see how, like, I would see, like, just coming home because I work late, I would see people that I knew were not from the neighborhood. This neighborhood has been, as long as I've been here, mostly West Indian. Okay. I'm seeing Africans. I'm seeing people with a shade of blackness I've never seen in my life. Okay, like different skin colors I've never seen before, and they're in the neighborhood because again they were going into the shelters. Okay, you'd have scooters lined up because most of these migrants were doing like they do like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and all that kind of stuff. So you saw the encroachment, and that's what really woke black folk up in Chicago. If you've got 800,000 migrants, I think and here's the last straw. When you've got 800,000 migrants that you've brought in, and then your government, your black mayor, decides, I'm going to go to the New York Supreme Court and try to get these illegals voting rights after 60 days of presidency.
Great replacement.
You just nullified the black vote right
Absolutely. Disenfranchisement.
So you just disenfranchised, because check this out. These illegals are vote cattle. They are vote cattle. They are vote cattle, and eventually they will become tax cattle. All they've got to do is just keep voting. All they got to do is just keep voting. And they give them the free stuff. They keep them as a permanent underclass, and they ain't got to listen to black folks anymore for nothing. And that's when I've told people, I had a conversation with a friend of mine earlier today. I said the Democratic Party are done with black folks.
So yeah, I
don't understand why that's so hard to understand.
It's not.
Black people are no longer useful, huh?
Yeah. Nope.
No. Hegel. It's just like Hegel. History uses people, and history discards them.
That's it.
And I get and the Democrats do. The Democrats are they're not the party of the middle class.
No,
they're the party of war. They're the party of the rich. They're the party of the college educated. They don't want to. They don't know what to do with black folk, especially if you're a heterosexual black man. They don't know what to do with us. You know, but
we certainly gotta have you back. We got to get you back on here, Isaiah, when we have more time. For the whole show next time, we certainly have to get you back on. And we had a super chat here. I want to acknowledge our super chatter. Chadwick says, Al Sharpton and Jamal Bryant destroying black communities through their ignorance, one emotion at a time.
Oh,
sad.
Jesus. Don't get me started about it. Don't get me started about
we have to say
you know Jamal, right, from Baltimore. Jamal
Club
Bryant.
Empowerment Temple.
Yeah.
Club Empowerment Temple.
That's it.
Oh yeah.
The only thing that temple empowered was Jamal Bryant.
Absolutely.
And his baby mamas.
Right.
Okay.
He had a few of them.
Right.
Okay.
Mamas.
All right. Well,
yeah, we got to have you on Just the Guys, man.
Yeah.
We got to have you come back.
Good.
I would love it, Guys. I would love it, brother. Thank you. Thank y'all for having me. I greatly appreciate it. Y'all have been fantastic. I look forward to the next time we speak.
Absolutely. Thank
you for coming.
This is Isaiah Carter from @Apostate Radio. So check him out here on YouTube.
Wait. Apostate Radio NY.
Oh, NY. Okay.
Oh,
We'll fix
NY.
that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll put that. Oh, he's gonna fix it now, I think.
Yeah. Apostate Radio
Apostate
NY.
Radio NY. Yeah, we just
Okay.
because somebody had that handle. So sorry.
Okay.
Thank you for coming.
Yes.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Have a great one.
All right. You do the same. All right, folks. Well, we are moving right along. Got a lot to cover tonight. I still want to talk a little bit about this Doge and all that's going on with this. As we mentioned, the media is going crazy behind what President Trump and Elon Musk are doing. And one of those people is Gayle King. Take a look at this. This is clip 8.
We should note, again, and you and I have said this in the air many times, there is no evidence that Joe Biden was, involved in any wrongdoing.
Of course, want to note that there is no evidence that Joe Biden or Hunter Biden has done anything wrong.
I just want to reiterate.
And let's be clear for the viewers.
There is no evidence Biden did anything wrong.
Governor, you got a second?
Literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
This is why independent media is so important. Thanks to people like you, patriots who love America and stand for truth, we're making a difference. Together, we've turned them off, called them out for their lies and propaganda, and held them accountable for their disdain for God-fearing, freedom-loving Americans like us. But we can't stop here. It's time to take action with our dollars. Let's make 2025 the year we double down on our commitment to values-driven choices. Vote with your dollars. Support Made in America. Back companies that honor our families, faith, and country. We found an exciting way to make this switch, and we want you to join us. Check out www.popandswitch.com and click Yes, I Want to Make the Switch. It's that easy. It's time to walk away from corporations like BlackRock and Vanguard that undermine our principles. Let's invest in America. Let's support businesses that share our love for this country. You don't have to take on everything at once, but you can start here. Join us in making this one small yet powerful step. Visit www.popandswitch.com. Click the link and schedule a call with our team to learn how you can make the switch. Together, we can create real change.
The Trump administration recently fired many employees of the FAA administration. Do those cuts worry you, and do you think that impacts the safety? I know you just said it's the safest way to travel, but after looking at all these mishaps, a lot of people are very nervous. Do these cuts affect you?
The cuts do not affect us, Gayle. I've been in close communication with the Secretary of Transportation. I understand that the cuts at this time are something that are raising questions, but the reality is there's over 50,000 people that work at the FAA, and the cuts, I understand, were 300 people, and they were in non-critical safety functions. The Trump administration has committed to investing deeply in terms of improving the overall technologies that are used in the air traffic control systems and modernizing the skies. They've committed to hiring additional controllers and investigators and safety investigators. So no, I'm not concerned with that at all.
So she had egg on her face, did she not? She was trying. This is what the media does. They are always trying to, they're not just asking questions, but they're trying to push a narrative. And he burst her bubble big time. I want to acknowledge At Last Satisfied Patriot with the $5 super chat. Says Cash Patel will be voted in tomorrow. We are getting ready to see fireworks like we've never seen before. Time is going to speed up, buckle up. Thank you so much. Also, Yvette Wenda with the $5 super chat says, I'm here from Kansas City, Missouri. My first super chat. Let me tell y'all, I'm in love with KJ. Oh, but I love all the ladies. By the way, where is Yana? Thank you so much.
She'll be back.
Yeah, she'll hopefully be back over the summer. So, yeah, we'll keep you all posted, and hopefully she'll be back over the summer. So, Shelley, what is
So what I liked about this, yes, she does have egg on her face. I think it's scrambled or sunny side up. I'm not sure which. But what she was trying to do, she was trying to imply that the FAA cuts contributed to that plane crash in Canada. You know, ever so slyly, she was trying to do that. Number one. Number two, this is what really infuriates me. These people, this leftist entitlement mindset, they have the gall to really believe that everybody in the government is entitled to a job, number one, and that they have permanent jobs, no less. When you are in any other sector of industry, you are hired at will. You can come and go. I mean, most people will terminate people for cause in the private sector. It's not just, you know, oh, you're fired for the most part. But these people are non-critical. They are probationary employees. They are getting taxpayer funds. That's the difference, too, between the private sector. The private sector has to actually produce to get a return on their investment, to have productivity, to show that this is what we're producing, widgets or services or whatever, and this is why we need X amount of labor and personnel. These people are nothing but blood suckers, tit suckers, if you want to call it that. Hell, they may be some other kind of suckers, but I'm going to keep it clean tonight. But that's what they get on your nerves. This is our money, and I want mine back. I want them to open the books. I want them to terminate whatever positions are not productive. And when they do that, I want them to have the government, have HALVE, because we don't need all of that. We just don't need it.
Yeah. Giovanni, what are your thoughts there?
Again, another black woman being paraded around to stick to the talking points in the party line. But I used to work in government or adjacent to government. And one thing about it is that we used to have a phrase, you work like a contractor, which is like you do what you have to do really quick. Mm-hmm. But then you're billing for X amount of hours. Mm-hmm. So then you still say that it takes this amount of time to do a particular lawyers. Job, right? But it can lead to a lot of waste. Yeah. And you think about it too, like nowadays people are starting businesses and creating things like quick with the chat bots and what have you. Like there's a lot of tools out there to create efficiency, and people are taking advantage of these things in their everyday life. But why is our government not doing the same thing? Why is it efficient? Why is it, that all these, have to go through all these like little checks and not even checks, but just like little procedures and process to feed into the bureaucracy? That's exactly that, what it does. that takes away from the efficiency. Why is it that we can't have a government that is more efficient? But again, to the point about the cuts, right? That's another thing that happens in these talking points. They don't, when there's a buzzword or something or a narrative to promote, they don't want to get into the details, into the facts. When he laid out, well, out of 50,000 people, that was 300, right? It doesn't make sense, right? And you see this, I had the lawsuit against Baltimore City Public Schools, and you see them now talking about how Baltimore has, made the largest strides in education across the country. I'm like, bottom. Well, first you were at the bottom, and if you go from one good school to two, that is a 100% increase.
Yep. Yeah. You're still at the bottom.
Well, speaking of efficiency, I mean, all of this money that Elon Musk and President Trump are uncovering, they have now put out a proposal to give it to the American people. So Elon Musk just said Doge is considering sending $5,000 refund checks to U.S. taxpayers. This plan would send 79 million households a total of $400 billion, which is 20% of Doge's projected savings by 2026. So the Doge dividend proposal argues basically 4 key benefits: righting the wrong done to the taxpayer. And again, this is the most important thing, and what the left keeps leaving out. They are trying to get us our money back. Exactly. They're sharing number 2, they're sharing benefits of cost cutting with taxpayers, boost morale to increase U.S. tax receipts, and incentivize the labor force participation in 2025. So again, this Sounds like a great idea to me. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I want more than one check. I want all of my money back so that I can invest it and do with as I choose to do so. That's number one. Number two, I mean, I know that he's making what is called Doge dividends or whatever. Fine. And I mean, I agree with what the proposals are, but it shouldn't even be a question. Every damn year or every month, we need to have an accountant. We should be getting refunds back every month because it's our money. It shouldn't even have to be a question to ask for it. It should just be done. What has been going on with our money is beyond a travesty. It is theft. Pure and simple. And these congressmen and all of these protest groups and, Elon Musk and Trump have to go. No, they don't. What they need to do is keep going down 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, E Street, K Street, all the other avenues and where these agencies are, and go through and turn upside down the whole agency. I want my money back. And I don't give a damn. I'm sorry I had to curse. I don't give a damn about these people who are saying, oh, well, you got to care about people. I do care about people. I don't want people to just, again, lose their jobs, whatever, and be out on the street. No, that's not what I want. But I don't want to pay for someone else's lifestyle, particularly at my expense. I have been paying into this system for more than 30 years, as well as other people have been. And I don't get a return on investment. I won't be able to I never wanted to look to my Social Security. I wanted to invest my Social Security, but of course, forced compliance, it comes out of my check no matter what. And I don't need all of these bureaucrats every darn year. Again, I have to send in papers and 1040s or whatever, documenting every damn thing that I spend with the money that they allow me to take home. And then I got to tell them how I spent it and justify it when these black Negroes, white Negroes, whoever you are, I don't know if there's such a thing as a white Negro, but the point is these people they had the audacity to cry and want me to feel bad when we say open the books. You have lost your ever-loving mind. Yeah. You really have.
And speaking of the idea that, you would think the media would be the ones that would broker some type of investigation into this stuff. Exactly. You think that they would be right on this, as we're seeing more and more exposed, but they're actually pushing against the exposure. I want to get you in on this, Javon, Logic. This is clip 1.
Coley says.
Oh,
hold on. Can you pull that up?
The super chat.
Yeah. Coley says, a refund is a good idea, but I need them to dismantle the IRS. They can't be trusted with our money.
Exactly.
Right. Thank you so much, Nicole. $5 super chat. All right. I want you guys we're talking about the media. I want you to take a look at this. This is clip 1.
You mentioned yesterday, and you mentioned again here, illegal immigrants who are getting child tax credits. Are you looking for that information in the IRS data?
Anytime a crime is committed, of course there should be an investigation. Is it your position that if somebody who is
Stephen,
here
are you looking for that
is stealing
information in the
taxpayer
IRS
dollars,
data?
the federal government will find every illegal alien who is stealing American taxpayer dollars. And that is what Americans expect to happen. I don't even fathom the premise of your question.
It's a simple question. Will you find that information in the IRS data and share that with law enforcement?
If IRS investigators find illegal aliens stealing taxpayer money, of course they'll be referred to ICE. Of course they'll be referred to Homeland Security investigations. Of course it will be. Surely your position is not that we should let illegal aliens steal taxpayer dollars. Again, you want to talk about something to be upset about, that's it. What do you think? The millions of illegal aliens who've also stolen Social Security. Illegal aliens in mass have fake Social Security numbers. They have fake identities. Those are felonies. Why should there be an entire class in this country that is immunized from criminal prosecution and arrest for committing felonies? Felony theft of taxpayer information, felony theft of Social Security, felony theft of identity. These are all crimes. And yes, they will be investigated. Yes, they will be prosecuted. And yes, illegal aliens will be deported. And you know what happens when those deportations occur?
Just very quickly,
is that Americans will get jobs, Americans will get benefits, Americans will get housing.
See, this is what are they? Why is the media so worried about illegals? Here you had
a government official saying they have uncovered data to show that people are putting in false Social Security numbers. There's fraud within the Social Security system. Millions upon millions of people have been found to be dead. Over 100 years old, like fake Social Security numbers. Why aren't they asking how is this happening? How can we uncover more? Is there more to? But she's worried about illegals, Giovanni.
Yeah.
I mean, they're showing their allegiance and who they're really beholden to when they're giving these statements or focusing on certain topics, right? It's not to the American people, it's not to the taxpayer, it's to the corporate interests that they're beholden to, and clearly there's some money flowing into parading these talking points into their networks. I don't know. There's still I don't know. Maybe there's some IRS money that they're getting. You know, the USAID money is going away. So maybe there's some other backdoor money that they're actually getting. And they don't want these things to be investigated and found out, right? But this is how you know the left, the media, they're all against the American people, because when we say, hey, there's a thief in your house, and we're going to prosecute that thief, and these people are saying, no, don't even look.
No, they're saying, well, why are you prosecuting?
Don't even prosecute.
Yeah, they're saying, why are you prosecuting? Oh, well, how are you going to do it? Are you going to do it this way? Make sure you do it in a way that's not going to hurt the thief. You know, which jail is the thief going to? Is it a safe jail? You know,
but that plays into the whole narrative, and I think American people have now, especially in urban areas like Baltimore, have been conditioned with this particular mindset. I mean, we see criminals going free. We see the Soros type prosecutor, right? So this is just kind of that next level, that same ideology being, placed in, the tax system and in the federal government. So, and the sad part is that you have people now cheering on this side too, because again, we've been conditioned to have this kind of thought process. It started small, little Johnny shouldn't be punished for misbehaving in class.
Right.
He had a bad day. Right. He didn't have lunch money today. Right. So then it starts there. And now it's kind of grown into this thing where, oh, man, this dude just killed 3 people. Oh, let's humanely, make sure he goes to jail. Don't put the cuffs on him too tight.
Yeah. It's that mindset. Go ahead.
Then what are we talking about here? Doge uncovered 395 million active Social Security numbers, exceeding the U.S. population by approximately 60 million. Shockingly, over 20 million of these are individuals over 100 years old, and more than 15 million of those are for those over 110. This is fraud, Shelley.
It's fraud, clear and day.
Have y'all heard the why they say these Social Security numbers exist?
No.
So there's 2 reasons. One because they attribute it to an old programming language, COBOL. So they said so there was this old, like a date that everything was kind of coded to, like 1875. So when you see that, like, that's why you see people 150 years old. But when they published the data, right, 150, that be a specific age, right? But there was only 3 million in that range. But then when you look at 140 to 149, and then even above 150, there were a lot more people. And the other thing that they said is because that there's a lot of people that have these fake numbers because they're hiding, or they're in protection, or some type of other, kind of witness protection.
It ain't that damn many people in the witness protection. It's not.
I'm telling you, like, this is the thing.
It's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud at every level and every institutional agency of our government. Pure and simple fraud, waste, and abuse. We want it cleaned up. First of all, she looked like a communist. Did you just notice her the style? And she was just so stoic. Or she looked like a communist.
She was angry.
That lady in The Handmaid's Tale, the chief woman. I can't remember her name. But again, it's fraud. And these people, these kind of people who think this way, the media, the government, the Democratic Party, leftists, progressives, whatever, they believe and they really think that we owe them. We're supposed to be working for them, the party, whatever system, the communist system. And no, we're not. We are not. People, we have to look. I want it all uncovered, Giovanni. I know you do. We do. We want it uncovered. They are protecting, if not just illegal immigrants, they are protecting the fraud.
Right.
They are, because they are getting something from it, KJ. They get the illegals to help count towards population. I think the next census is in 2030. So they need those numbers to count. And I think Isaiah just said it best. Black people, by and large, are irrelevant now. So these are the people who are replacing. This is why they don't really want to cater to Black people anymore. They are very tepid about using certain Black people to help them, boost their agenda, because they know in the last election, more Black people, particularly Black men, voted for Trump. So they gotta, kind of like tread those waters carefully. But they certainly can still use the illegal immigrants, but they are not having the luck, because Doge, Tom Homan, Kristi Noem, all these people are going through and cleaning house. And while they're cleaning house, they need to be cleaning out the coffers of all of these agencies and making a refund and reimbursements back to every American who has paid into this system.
I'm tired of the excuses. This is what I'm tired of. And this is what we are seeing the Democrats do. Every time we say, okay, well, here's the data, this is happening, it's an excuse. Same thing with the LA mayor, Karen Bass. She's still blaming everyone else for her being on a trip in Ghana when the LA fires took place. Take a look at this. This is clip 6.
To go to Ghana, which I know you've said was a mistake now. But I just am curious on the thought process behind it.
Right.
Because we know that there was warnings about the weather before you went, and you still went. What was the thought process behind going to Ghana?
So let me just tell you a couple of things. First of all, when the White House called and asked me if I would represent the president, I said yes. It was going to be a very, very short trip, over a weekend and 2 business days. We need to look at everything about the preparation and all of that for the fires, because I think when we evaluate that, we will find that although there were warnings that I frankly wasn't aware of, although there were warnings, I think our preparation wasn't what it typically is, meaning that before there's a major weather event, for example, last week when we knew we were going to get into the rains, you saw us come together and us talk about, get your sandbags, bring the K-rails out. That type of preparation didn't happen. If that had, I will tell you, Alex, I wouldn't have even gone to San Diego, let alone leave the country.
But what do you mean there were warnings you weren't aware of? Because I know we were talking about it on the news. A lot of people were talking about the problems, warning that this was going to be a huge deal.
So when I talked about it with the fire chief, what she said is that we have warnings of Santa Ana winds a lot.
So again, these are excuses. You went anyway. This is what you should have said. Yes, I saw the warnings and I went anyway. Right? This is what she did.
That's what she did. She went to represent the president and whatever's going on. I'm gonna tell you why she really went. She went because she was a Black woman and she believes all of whatever her history is related to Africa. And she wanted to present, this African or Pan-Africanism in Ghana. And she was, pleased and beyond ecstatic that I think it was President Biden. I think he was president. Asked her to go. And it was this Black thing. That's all it was. It was this Black thing, writ large on the African continent. She's full of it as well. She knew that she was going. She didn't give a damn about her city burning, nor the people who lost their homes. I mean, literally in one fell swoop, if you will, lost their homes, the schools, the people who were sick. She didn't care. And she didn't come back right away.
No, she didn't. No, she went anyway. This is all she had to say.
She wanted to pretend.
I knew that they were going. I was made aware that we were going to have these storms, and I didn't know that it was going to be so bad. So I went anyway.
So notice how she's speaking though in this particular interview. So she had a little bit of time to prep, right? Because remember when she got off the plane and they did a little interview, she froze up. She didn't know what to say. She had to go talk to her handlers. But Karen Bass is a trained Marxist. She's absolutely trained Marxist, and she's an expert in victimology, right? And in entitlements. Like she's an expert in entitlements. And then when she speaks, you hear her, she's talking in these like kind of circular sentences that you literally need a degree in gender studies to understand. These people are Marxists. They care nothing about their communities. It's all a grift. It's all about the money, power, and control. As long as they can keep it, as long as they can keep you emotional enough. And then you hear the 92% of Black women yelling and screaming behind her. What was the two actors' names that were?
Oh, right. I don't even know their names.
But you see the 92% of Black women supporting, because, oh man, being a mayor is a tough job, and it's hard for a Black woman, especially in this country, to do this job. When you are the mayor, the CEO of the third largest city or second largest city in the United States, and you don't know when the news and media and everything else is saying what's going on, and you don't know.
This happens every year. So this is not something like a hurricane, or even not so much like a hurricane. Wasn't a storm that wasn't something they weren't generally used to. These storms, these windstorms happen the same time every year. And most people who work in this business know you can't do anything during this time of year, because you're going to get these types of windstorms and everybody is on alert. We wouldn't go to Ghana, but you went because you didn't care, or you didn't know it was going to be so bad, and you said, I'm going to risk it anyway because I want to go eat some couscous
and wear my kente cloth.
And wear your kente cloth. So don't try to, this is what I'm talking about. These Democrats always pass the buck. They never accept responsibility or accountability for anything, and we know this is their playbook. They don't want laws. They don't want the police to enforce the laws, the prosecutors to enforce the laws, and they don't want to take accountability and responsibility for anything.
Remember, what's her name, Patrice Cullors, BLM? I have a little bit of respect for her, because at least she and those other two women that founded BLM, they told us they were trained Marxists.
Karen Bass has to.
She said that herself. I don't know if she said, but Patrice Cullors literally said that. And I'm glad she at least told us that. So to know where their ideology was, she didn't make any kind of derision about it. But these people, they try to hide. They are Marxists, but they hide behind this veneer of helping the people, and they need us, and we're the Black people who look like you, and we know what's best, and trust us. And every time, again, it's not about the color. They use the color to make a point. But every time these leftists, Marxists, progressives, whatever color they are, they will kick the American people in the balls and in their ass.
It's a grift, and we've been talking about it.
I cursed again.
No, it is a grift. And folks, we really appreciate you guys just supporting the channel. Please continue to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that like button. It certainly helps to amplify our voice here on YouTube. Again, tonight we have with us Giovanni Patterson from Just the Guys podcast here on YouTube. Oh, I'm sorry. Logic is here with us from Just the Guys podcast on YouTube. So you all have to check it out. Just the Guys podcast right here on YouTube. We also have our merch store. So if you guys want any of the merch, I'm using one of our mugs here tonight. So this is Not Black, Not White, American. You can get this on our store at www.popandpoliticslive.com/shop. Now, let you guys know, because we have some delays right now.
But tell them why we have delays.
Yeah. We've been so overrun.
That's right.
With these orders, and we want to thank you all for going to the website and purchasing these items, not just the mugs, but we have sweatshirts, t-shirts, and you guys have been
buying us out. You've been buying up some stuff over there.
Yeah, so we are in we have a little back order right now, but don't stop. You will get your orders. Go right on to the website, hit that shop button, and your order. You will get your order, but there is a slight delay right now. All right. Also, tomorrow night, I will be back on Christian Conservative here right on YouTube. At KJCJ Christian Conservative. We will be talking about Kash Patel tomorrow.
Oh, good.
It looks like he's going to get nominated sometime tomorrow. We're going to be talking about it. This is epic. This is huge. This is what we've all been waiting for. So you don't want to miss it. Check it out on Christian Conservative at KJCJ Christian Conservative right here on YouTube. All right. So we got more stuff for you guys tonight. Want to talk a little, go international and talk about what Trump has been saying about Ukraine. So President Trump on Wednesday said that he believes Ukrainian Volodymyr Zelenskyy to be a dictator over his refusal to hold elections. So President Trump put this out on his Truth Social. Says here, think of it, a modestly successful comedian, Volodymyr Zelenskyy, talked the United States of America into spending $350 billion to go into war that couldn't be won, that never had a start, but a war that he, without the U.S. and Trump, will never be able to settle. The United States has spent $200 billion more than Europe, and Europe's money is guaranteed, while the United States will not get nothing back. Why didn't sleepy Joe Biden demand equalization and that this war is far more important than Europe than it is to us? We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation. On top of this, Zelenskyy admits that half of the money we sent him is missing. He refuses to have elections, is very low in Ukrainian polling, and the whole thing he was good at was playing Biden like a fiddle. A dictator without elections. Zelenskyy better move fast or he is not going to have a country left. In the meantime, we are successfully negotiating an end to the war with Russia, something all admit only Trump and the Trump administration can do. Biden never tried. Europe has failed to bring peace, and Zelenskyy probably wants to keep the gravy train going. I love Ukraine, but Zelenskyy has done a terrible job. His country is shattered, and millions have unnecessarily died. And it continues. So, Shelley, I want to ask you something about this, because one thing President Trump said was he said that Ukraine started the war. He said Ukraine started this war. And I know in the past we've talked about this, and you have, at least in the past, have said that you don't agree that Ukraine started it. You felt Russia started.
Yeah.
So what do you think?
I still think Russia started it, in the sense that Russia took the first step to what do you call it? To start whatever the physical step of initiating the war. That's number one. I do understand that the history that Ukraine wanted to join NATO, the borders and all that. But to me, Russia took the first step of, if you want to call it, the act of aggression. Oh, fine. Now that we are here with President Trump, he is, what is it, the art of the deal, if you will. So he's doing this art of the deal. He's trying to get Zelenskyy. At this point, Ukraine cannot win the war. Ukraine cannot win. The country has been devastated. I never agreed with the war in the beginning, or from the beginning. I still don't. But I can admit that they're not going to win this war. Russia has the resources, the time, they had the mindset to go as far as they, I guess, want to go, and as long as they can go. Ultimately, they will take over that whole country. So I'm thinking that Zelenskyy better, raise the white flag, if you will, and save what country, little bit of country he can save, and the people there. I'm sick of people dying senselessly, when it can be resolved. And I think President Trump is, with this particular statement, he's going to be the one to do it.
Yeah. And Giovanni, so President Trump said Zelenskyy's presidential term in office was up in May 2024, but per Ukrainian law, elections cannot be held while martial law is in effect. So, but he's insinuating that Zelenskyy, they should hold elections. Do you think they should hold elections, or is it, they should wait until martial law so this war is over? Because they haven't held elections in a long time.
Imagine if Trump did that, right? Imagine if Trump said, we're not going to hold elections. And imagine he did that at the end of 2020. What would the left be saying about that? Meanwhile, the left is insinuating that Zelenskyy is kind of the victim here, when he is clearly doing things that are dictator-like, right? Now, if there was an agreement between the two countries and that agreement was violated, then there has to be some level of consequence. I guess, if we want to blame Russia for that, it's fine. But if there was this, agreement that set in place and said, if you do this or if you cross this line, right, there's going to be consequences. Why are we surprised when there are consequences to the action? So, maybe if we go back and look at history and look at what Russia did, what Ukraine did, we may find that Ukraine started the war by initiating the action. And just, it's one of those things with football, right? Or any kind of sport. It's always the second person that gets the flag, right? It's, the first person that does the pushing, shoving, or the instigator, they like, oh no. And then and that's what you have here is everybody wearing, I saw Amy Klobuchar the other day posted a picture of her wearing a Ukraine flag. You got everybody supporting the victim, the victimizer, and saying, hey, like, let's look at the replay. Let's go back and see what's actually happening.
Yeah. We do have a super chatter here. Coley Bennett. Hey, yes. Nicole with a $5 super chat. Says Europe needs to step up and the U.S. needs to sunset the endless support of Zelenskyy.
Absolutely.
Trump is right. Zelenskyy is a bum. All right.
And that's what Trump is doing. He's going to stop the gravy train, as he said. So Zelenskyy is going to be further, if you will, pushed into a corner. Ultimately, I do believe that Zelenskyy is going to ask for a ceasefire or whatever the case may be, however they come to the table. And I think that's what's needed. Again, that's what's needed. I think that's what Trump is doing. I'm not of a Zelenskyy fan, if you will. I just think that from the beginning, I don't think this war would have ever started if President Trump was still in office. I do believe he was elected. He just, they just pulled it from him, but that's a different story. I don't think it would have started had he been there, because I think the negotiations would have played out a little bit longer.
And what do they talk when he said half of the money is missing?
It's in the Biden's coffers.
Oh, so we think that's what I was a little confused on. So was it Zelenskyy that is went missing on his part, or did it go missing on our end?
No,
who knows?
Corruption.
This is what I'm talking about.
Corruption.
How aren't these reporters not looking into this, asking questions about this? They're worried about illegals. This is why, as President Trump says, the media or mainstream media has become enemies of the state.
Absolutely.
And this is why you guys, it's important for you to support independent media like ours, like this here on Poppin' Politics here on YouTube.
Metro Conservative Media. MetroConservativeMedia.com. You can check all of us out.
I'm going to say it again. If any one of our audience members, and don't forget, subscribe, hit the like button, and if you want a super chat read, go ahead and make that super chat donation. If any of us shortchanges, if you will, or underpays our taxes, you better believe in less than 6 months, you're going to get a letter from the IRS. I know because I've gotten them, but you're going to get a letter from the IRS saying you owe this much plus interest plus late fees. They got that down to a penny. And don't mail in the check the same, let's say like 2 weeks later, because that interest goes into the next month, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. They got it down to a penny, but they can't find billions of dollars that are all over the world, and not just in our country, but sent out on behalf of who knows whom all over the world. They can't find that, but they can find our little underpayment for taxes. I mean, I know maybe I'm conflating the issue. I don't care, because it's our money.
You're not conflating. Speaking of finding it, the next thing that there's rumors is that Elon Musk and President Trump want to open up Fort Knox. And so
open it.
Yeah. And
the gold better be there.
This is the issue. So many are thinking the gold is not there. And that gold and Fort Knox is empty. And so this is the next thing. And I want to ask you all in the chat, do you believe Fort Knox still has our gold? And also, do you want Elon Musk and President Trump to investigate it?
Why not?
Because it has been widely rumored that there's no gold in Fort Knox.
I've heard that several times.
I've heard that over the years that the gold has decreased or not. I mean, not there or whatever. Too. Open it up. I mean, why not? The president should be able to go to Fort Knox.
Right. Yeah. So that's something we're going to continue to follow here. So we're going to change gears to actually a local issue, but you guys should know about this nationally. The trans cult. So overnight, the leader of the Ziz trans terror cult, Andrea LaSota, also known as Ziz, and co-member Michelle Zajko were arrested here in Maryland. Zajko has been on the run since the inauguration day, killing a Border Patrol agent, David Mayland, during a traffic stop in Vermont. Take a look at this for more. This is clip 7.
A group of transgender computer scientists came together not to build a website, not to introduce a new app, but instead to join a violent cult. 3 members of the trans vegan group known as Zizian have been arrested on charges including trespassing on private property, and that was in Maryland where they were apparently hiding out. They were also charged with possession of a handgun in a vehicle. That's not all, though. They've been linked to the deaths of Curtis Lind, Richard Zajko, Rita Zajko, and most notably Border Patrol agent David Mayland, who was killed in Vermont back in January. Joining me now is Andy No. He's the senior editor at the Post Millennial who's been reporting on this. Andy, I know you've been following this group for a while. I've been reading you online. What led to their arrests?
Well, they have been, the leader, Jack, says LaSota, had been on the run for several years. And at every step of the way that he was caught in different jurisdictions, he was let out either on no bail or bail that was lowered. In the case of in Pennsylvania, where a $500,000 bail was lowered to $10,000 in 2023, and he disappeared for a couple of years until he was arrested with his 2 comrades over the weekend. What happened is that, according to the court documents, the 3 of them drove their box trucks, and this is how they try to live off the grid, onto rural property that happened to actually be private property in Western Maryland. And the property owner alerted police. State troopers came up, and they would not identify themselves. However, fortunately, the FBI is finally on this case now, even though their homicides have been going back to several years. And law enforcement on the East Coast do internally have photos of these suspects because there have been
Look at him.
so many
I just want everyone,
deaths.
Andy, I'm interrupting, but I mean, this is like demonic. The face is demonic. I'm sorry. That looks like something out of a horror movie. Is that Daniel Plank we're looking at on the left, guys? Is he I'm not sure if he's his name is not on the thing. Oh yeah, he looks demonic, like he's on some type of, I mean, I don't know if he's on hormones or other drugs or.
The person on the left is Jack LaSota, who's the alleged leader of this group. And, you describe the appearance of some of these members as looking demonic. I would describe some of the crimes that they're accused of as being demonic, you could say. An elderly couple that were killed in Delaware County, Pennsylvania, were shot execution style.
Oh my gosh. Folks, this whole trans movement is not only demonic, it's insane. Shelley, I mean, this is tragic. And right here in Maryland.
Why do they always come to Maryland? Because someone else was caught here a couple weeks ago.
Because we're full of loony lefties.
Yeah. I mean, I know the 95 corridor is prime real estate, if you will, for the trafficking, the cults, it seems like. What I don't understand is, what is vegan or however you say it have to do with them? I mean, I know that's just ancillary, but this trans vegan cult, now this trans agenda has morphed into being a vegetarian, but you still can kill people. I mean, you don't kill animals, but you murder people. I mean, where there is no balance. There's no balance because it doesn't make sense. Sane people and people with at least a semblance of a moral code, we can't wrap our heads around it because it's too beyond the level of normal for us to understand it. And I guess in that sense, I take a little bit of comfort in that because I don't understand it. But it's evil. I just, again, how this got into the trans cult. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, it's really been going under the radar recently because the media has not been reporting on these trans killers like they need to because, they don't want to touch it. They don't want to, upset or offend, right, this trans agenda. But folks, this tough stuff is being pushed in our schools. This stuff is being pushed as young as kindergartners. They're trying to create this whole trans social agenda. Theology and everything, and it's exploding, and we're going to have more and more people who think they are trans, and this thing is connected to a lot of mental health issues.
I mean, you got to think about what it means to be trans in general, right? You're effectively saying God got it wrong, right? So if you saying God put me in the wrong body, so you're effectively playing God, right? That is deception. That is, just from it's demonic. Right?
Oh yeah, that's
so first off, we just got to start calling this out, calling these things out for what they are, and can't be ashamed and bashful for speaking out about these things, because you just have to call it what it is. But it also too, this is how you know these additional movements are rooted in evil, because if you're trying to codify to these particular types of behavior, what are you placating to? You're placating to demonic, evil behaviors, right? So if we're justifying that it's okay to play God, what is that telling our kids, these next communities that are coming behind? What if we're saying there's no consequences for actions, for killing or for misbehaving or these type of things? What message is that sending? Ultimately, it's a message of confusion, deception. It's a message of lies, and quite frankly, it is demonic.
Yep. So I want to, Giovanni, I just remember this quote, and many of us, we've quoted it before, the G.K. Chesterton quote. When people don't believe in God, they don't believe in nothing. They will believe in anything. And so these other pseudo, if you want to call them that, pseudo false religions, and again, or beliefs, if you will, I'm not saying you have to believe in a certain religion, but you don't have God as just a moral framework. You're going to believe in anything. And this leads to the confusion, the misinformation, if you will, whatever buzzword you want to put in there. But it definitely, ultimately, when it's replicated enough, that belief in anything, you will believe that you're, transhumanism. And ultimately, if you are transhumanism, if you are able to transition yourself into whatever sex at any time you feel like it, then ultimately you're saying that I have the power, the God-giving or life-giving power of God to transition myself and anybody else into what I want him or her to be.
Right. Folks, this is why the truth is so important, because we have entered a climate where we saw many times people, even the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, whatever his name is, was advocating about arming trans people. Trans people need to get guns. Trans people need to be armed. Protect trans people. On The View, every time you turn around, they're talking about, just had on the one on that guy who believes he's a woman, the black one, one of the first trans people. I can't remember his name.
Billy Porter?
Not Billy Porter.
The one with a B, the girl. The woman,
he had a short wig on. Yeah, I can't remember her name or his name, whatever it is. But they were saying trans people are in danger and all this type of stuff. And then they try to legitimize this type of thinking, this mentality. And these people then think they don't need help. And they go out here arming themselves and hurting people because they've been legitimized, and we're starting to legitimize insanity. We have to call it for what it is and not be afraid and stop them from trying to put this on our children.
I'm tired of them using the letter Z, though. Z was such a beautiful letter. And trans-zers and zims.
It's crazy.
What is it called? Zizzy
and Zizzy.
And another thing they're
what
pushing.
What did Z do to them?
I don't know. But another thing, they're pushing it on the Black community as well.
Yeah.
So, they're trying to tie civil rights to trans rights. And so on and so forth. Just like Isaiah mentioned, the Black community is not only being replaced, they're being used to usher in this demonic nonsense.
And it's only the Black community. I don't hear any other ethnic group or community, Asian, whatever. I don't hear Filipino. I know they're Asian too. I know that. Again, okay, I'm just using that as an example. but you don't hear them tying in with the, what is it, LGBTQ.
I mean, not as
So
a black community, not as a community like that.
no, I'm saying you don't, right? You don't hear them making that out of an agenda, attaching it to those other ethnic groups or communities. It's only the black community.
I mean, I'm going to ask a question I know about no one wants to ask, but are the black community, are they full of fools? Why is it that the black community keeps falling for this stuff?
Well,
I
not
think
everybody.
it's a mindset.
Not everybody falls for it, and
Most of, I mean,
you know,
it's a mindset.
This is where you get the Uncle Toms from.
Huh?
If you don't fall for it, you call it an Uncle Tom.
Oh, right, but as a group, just largely speaking, it's a mindset. It is a mindset, and I think a big part of the mindset certainly starts with the government.
It wasn't always like that.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't. So the black community, though, when it comes to our community in particular, it was because of the destruction of the family where a lot of these things started to take root.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Again, I say this: when you're in war, the first thing, or you want to take over a community or a village, what have you, you take out the men.
Right.
Right. So the men, largely in the black community, have been removed.
And how are they taken out?
Voluntarily or involuntarily. You know, again, where the government is the daddy, and you know, and dad is away. It's illegal, especially for low income people, to have men in the home. And then now, you know, I'm a big anti-child support person, because that's another tool that's been used to destroy black families, largely because now, you know, men are subject to the state again, because the man and woman didn't get along. Now, a lot of men want to take care of their children. You know, we'll disagree on that, but I personally believe that because I've seen it happen. But when you take men out of their homes and take men out of the community, you can take over a village. And now, who's raising these young boys?
You must first get rid of the strong man.
Who's raising these young kids? And that's how now you can attach yourself, especially to emotional type arguments, because these young boys, these young girls are being raised primarily by women who in general thrive off emotion, and that's what they're taught. That's what they're trained in. And you know, this is why we see the attachment nowadays that we see to these particular movements, because they're rooted in emotion, less in logic. And long as you can keep the emotion, the attention's high, find that one little trigger, you know, you got these people controlled.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I just hope, you know, like Isaiah said initially on the early part of the broadcast tonight, I really hope that people are starting to wake up. And I was watching a podcast earlier today, and they were talking about how sometimes there are moments in history where, you know, you think it's going to go one way, and it's just one thing that can change it, and it goes the total opposite. And so right now, you know, many of the Democrats before President Trump got into office thought they had it in the bag. But because they went over the deep end with this illegal immigration, with this trans mania, people said enough. And it pushed many people the opposite way. There was a new poll out today talking about how so many younger people voted for President Trump. So it gives you a glimmer of hope, because many of them were like, the trans mania is too much. You're giving our money away from to illegals. Government is encroaching on our rights with the lockdowns. We're voting for Trump.
I got a little personal story. Well, it's not my story personally that happened to me, but my goddaughter, right? I think I was telling you about it the other day. So she didn't vote for Trump, and I'll just I'll categorize it. She has been, I guess I would say, wayward, okay, for a long time. And she saw our episode that we did last week about the sex education being taught in Maryland schools. Now, she has a couple of young children still left at home. And so she called me, and she's like, Auntie, you know, I saw that episode, and she said, you know, I don't want that taught to my children. She didn't vote for Trump, right? Like I said, again, put it mildly, she's been wayward, if you will. But she called me and she said, I don't want my children taught that. That's not right. They don't need to hear all that stuff, things like that. And so now, to make a long story short, she's asking about how she can get them out of public school and put them in a better school, hopefully a private school, certainly maybe a religious Christian private school. So like you were saying, maybe people are waking up one at a time, however small, but I think it also goes back to the personal relationships that we can get people, that they can come to us and say, okay, I trust you. I may not have voted for Trump, but I want to hear what you have to say. I trust you. And I think that's just where it's going to have to start, one person at a time. It's not going to be a whole community at a time. It's going to be one person at a time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And folks, this is why what we're doing on here is so important. We really appreciate you guys watching, subscribing, liking, and sharing the broadcast. It goes a long way in helping our voice amplify here on YouTube. So please continue to hit that like button. We have so many people watching tonight. So please, if you haven't done so already, please hit that like button. And subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. It does help to amplify our voice here on YouTube. All right. So we are at the end of our time tonight. Yeah, we are.
Oh, we didn't do the breaking news. What's the breaking news? I think starting tomorrow, some IRS employees are going to be like up to 7,000 of them are going to be laid off. Oh, I was just saying, talking about the Doge thing, this has been on my mind. But I think starting tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, or at least by this weekend, the next agency on the hit list, the Doge list, I guess, about 7,000 or upwards of 7,000 IRS employees are going to be laid off. That's what the news is reporting. So we'll see. They're going through every agency, and I ain't upset about it.
Yeah. It needs to be done. It needs to be an audit. It needs to be cleaned up and cleaned out. And certainly, my heart goes out to anyone that is hardworking and losing their jobs. But the government is far too large. It's way too big. It needs to be cut down to size, and particularly, we need to clean out this waste and fraud. We certainly do need to do that because it's our money. It's our hard-paid, hard-working money. So, all right. Well, final thoughts, Logic.
Yeah. So make sure you guys follow Just the Guys on YouTube. Just the Guys podcast. We'll be live Saturday at 6:30. This week we're having a call-in show this week, so definitely want you to encourage you to join the podcast live, join the stream live. Because we're going to ask the question, what is freedom, and are you free, to close out Black History Month? I think it'll be a great discussion. But in light of Doge and what we've been talking about today, I do want to echo that. Like, we never want to see people lose their jobs. We never want to see people are hurt or struggle financially. But at the same time, it's like we kind of got to grow up, we kind of got to grow up. And I was having this kind of discussion on Facebook a couple of days ago, talking about government money, right? Government money is cyclical, right? So our tax dollar goes to pay these government employees, and then the employees get taxed, but that's tax money from taxes, right? So it's just money that's recycled inside the government. Because the question was, how do these layoffs kind of stimulate the economy, right? Well, now more people are now free to go do and build, things within their own communities. Also, businesses can hire more now because they can tax less, right? So we want to put more money back into stimulating the economy and create less burden on the taxpayer. So it is going to hurt for a little bit, but that's kind of what happens when you do spring cleaning or any type of correction. When if you ever go on a weight loss journey, or when you get back in the gym, it hurts, right? And those things, it's a struggle to begin with, but you keep with it, you get through it. And I think what was happening with Doge and getting our money back and seeing the corruption and exposure is just a net positive for America.
Right.
All right. Shelley, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm echoing what Giovanni Logic has said. It's not the people, it's not the people that we are against. It's the government overreach, overspending, waste, fraud, and abuse. So that's just basically the bottom line. I just want to again say thank you all for just hanging out with us tonight and all of these. How many years has it been now? Almost 5 years, I think.
Right.
But thank you for all of your support. Thank you for subscribing. Please keep subscribing and liking the show. And I just want to say just thank you for all of your feedback, your comments, even those who, you give us some little shade every now and then. Thank you for that too. That means at least you're listening and hey, the conversation is open for discussion.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Shelley actually got dressed up tonight, though.
Oh, she always looks nice.
I mean, this tonight, she like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
You tell Logic, you don't say stuff like that to women on and just on a big broadcast. Like I look like a pauper any other time.
Like a pauper any other time, but I'm just saying, like tonight, you like. All right, Shelley.
All right, Logic.
All right, Shelley.
All right, folks. Yes. So we will be back on. We will be back on Friday night. Friday night, we will be back here live in the. Well, I'm not in the studio. We'll be back here on Friday to go down all of the trending news and pop. All of it. We're going to do that on Friday night. So definitely come back with us. I want to leave you guys with this video. We were talking about the government, big government, and, all these social programs. The government has gotten so much bigger than it used to be. And we've become so many more people have become more dependent on it. But is it really a good thing? That's the question we want answered. Is that a good thing? Is that helpful? Is it really helpful? And so I want you guys to take a look at this clip to take us out tonight. Again, I'll be back here Thursday on Christian Conservative, tackling all of these items from a biblical Christian perspective. So definitely check us out and take a look at this video. This is clip 5. Good night.
I have never heard of a country that developed on aid. If you know of one, just let me know. I know about countries that developed on trade and innovation and business. I don't know of any country that got so much aid and they suddenly became a first world country. I've never heard of such a country. So the track is wrong. That track ends to nowhere.
There is a school of thought out there that I don't agree with, where indeed people think they owe the poor people to give them money without thinking about how they are going to use this money. Aid leads to more aid and more aid and more aid and less independence of the people that are receiving aid. Second, there's a wrong notion for people who have money or who give aid. They feel good that they're helping, but the best way to help is to help people to be able to stand on their own.
Our governments are not encouraged to buy local. Now, when we talk to the international donor community, they say it's not their policy and that we're in cloud cuckoo land. When we talk to the government says, hey, we're not allowed to buy with donor money local products. That's just the way it is. It's their money, they decide who gets it. For example, 5 companies in Ghana got together to bid for a contract together. Now, everything was going very well. We were competent to do the work.
It's time for Pop and Politics. It appears that time period following slavery and Jim Crow were not as harmful to the Black community, to Black family, as the legacy of liberalism and the welfare state.
Because you have this candidate that checks all these boxes. Well, she's Black-ish, check the box. She's female, check the box. She's from California, check the box. And she's not Joe Biden. Right. Most importantly, check the box. We ought to win. Somebody roll out Beyonce.
You lie, you steal, you cheat, you cause fear, you cause all kinds of chaos, and now you want us to somehow take your sob stories as if you're on our side. Get the...
We are seeing you know, how Marxism, how communism have infiltrated many of our institutions. And one of the main institutions that have been infiltrated is the church.
He took into the pulpit of that church, in front of his parishioners, someone whose stated goal was to kill children. Every single perversion that the Bible stands against, he let that person, personified evil, stand in his pulpit.
America has never been a democracy. It has been a republic. And that's part of the big problem. People don't understand the difference. This is how dumb. Like I said, they won't bring us on The View.
Welcome back to the All-American Talk Show.
We are talking about OnlyFans, otherwise known in the studio here as Lonely Fans.
And 4.1 million creators, and of that, 84% are female. But here's the crazy part. So for all they're doing, they earn an average of $180 per month.
Phil's gonna go meet someone in an alley by a dumpster, and KJ and I are gonna keep talking for a little bit.
Is our movement going to be sympathetic to these people if they decide, look, I don't want to do this anymore?
Oh my gosh, I had a bad dream, Giovanni. It's like I had to watch multiple minutes of The View.
As Maryland has literally, our legislature, our General Assembly has literally tried to take the word parent out of even health education.
I don't care about the public schools, and I don't care about the teachers there. What I care about are that the students who go there get the education they need to become productive adults.
Just the Guys Podcast.
They all look the same. You know, he's a real pretty boy, asking the questions real softly and nodding his head. Yes, mama. Yes, mama.
Madam President, these gentlemen do not believe that you are intelligent. I beg to differ.
I was the first vice president or president to ever in office go to a reproductive health care clinic.
Her strategy to win black votes was putting a twerking rapper on stage, saying that she cooked collard greens in the bathtub.
And you see a lot of black men typically vote in the way of the cooch.
When you take government out of it, things go back to where they're supposed to go. The guy should have all of these things that the guy should have done to protect himself. Why don't we just say keep your legs closed?
80% of the world walking out there is hedonistic degenerates who believe freedom is defined by how hedonistic and degenerate you express yourself. You better thank a union member. That bullshit, okay?